Thank you for joining the AssistRx Patient Assistance Program Blueprint, Finding the Right Balance of Tech and Talent to Optimize Free Drug Programs webisode series. My name is Jan Nielsen, and I am the AssistRx Patient Solutions Division President.
And this is Kevin Robbins. I'm the Vice President of Business Development at AssistRx.
In this three-part webisode series, we talk about the current state of patient assistance programs, or PAPs, in the U.S., and how to tailor your PAP program to meet your stakeholders' needs and how to build and maintain brand loyalty. In the first part of this three-part webisode series, we talk about the growing importance of PAPs, evolving needs of providers and patients, and how the perfect balance of tech and talent can serve these populations. If you haven't seen part one of the series, visit AssistRx.com and navigate to News and Insights. In today's webisode, part two of the series, we will talk about how to tailor your PAP program to best serve your patient and provider populations. Specifically, we'll dive into what to consider when designing your PAP program and how to tailor your PAP program to meet the needs of various provider preferences and patient preferences, and how to support stakeholders who may not prefer digital methods. Let's start with PAP design considerations. Kevin, can you kick it off for us?
Of course. Let's say you have a self-injectable RA drug that's been on the market for over a year. Your patient population ranges, but most are of working age or have caregivers. And most patients and caregivers are highly motivated. Your healthcare provider setting, technology savviness ranges, but most are familiar with the specialty product landscape. The product is a pharmacy benefit. You have a relatively good payer coverage, but a PA is, of course, required. There's a moderate PA approval rate and periods range from 6 to 12 months. You offer reimbursement support, patient assistance, and copay assistance programs, clinical support, and nurse injection training. Rather than making your providers visit multiple websites or portals to access the enrollment form, enroll in clinical support, submit a PA, etc., you can stand up one branded access website, integrate your electronic services and solutions into your already existing brand website. Jan, can you show us an example?
Of course, Kevin. Here's a branded access website that can serve your patients and providers. The electronic services listed on this website are powered by real-time integrations to give your providers immediate visibility and real-time access to services for their patients all in one place. That means screening and enrolling their patients into a PAP program in real time without having to upload tax documents or pay stubs. Providers can even complete a real-time EPA after performing a light KBA, knowledge-based authentication, which should be required by the manufacturer. And if the script is not already on file, an alert can be generated to notify the provider this step needs to be completed. These tools can be integrated into or hyperlinked from your existing website. All your providers need to know is the drug name, and they can find these services. These same advantages are afforded to your patients. Rather than requiring your patient to come into the office to sign a consent form or have your patient support provider call the patient to enroll them into the PAP program, you can empower your patients and their caregivers to self-serve through a branded access website or existing brand website. If your patients are working or have a caregiver who is working, they will have limited ability to take a call from the provider or patient support program during their working hours. A branded access website enables them to visit the site anytime at their convenience and completely self-serve and get the answers they need in real time.
And when we say answers, we don't just mean whether the patient is eligible or not. Through integrations, your patients will be able to learn their approval status, download and print their pharmacy cards, and view all the documentation in case they want to return to it later and understand your program and what they've enrolled in. They'll also be able to view any next steps required from their provider. But what about PAP eligibility criteria? Your program business rules can be integrated into their access points. Let's say your PAP requires patients to be uninsured or underinsured and under a 400% federal poverty level. These elements can be added as business rules for screening patient eligibility through real-time electronic coverage and income verification tools. Maximum day support or dosing restrictions, they can be added too. Systematic controls can be put into place to prevent the patients or providers from moving forward should the patient not qualify for your patient assistance. And this is where the talent piece of the equation comes in. Supportive off-ramps should be put in place to empower the patients or providers to contact your patient solutions program for further review and/or to discuss other financial assistance options. Increasing patient and provider self-service and automation processes upfront reduces the pressure on your patient solutions team, as well as provides transparency to your patients and prescribers. This model empowers the team to focus on the complex cases for your patient services team, while patients and providers who prefer traditional methods and/or patients found in your eligible for your PAT program.
And let's be clear, some providers will always prefer traditional methods like the fax. You need to respect that. Some patients, depending on their disease state and stage in their disease progression, are unable to take advantage of electronic methods. Further, some patients will not qualify for your PAP program or copay assistance program due to a variety of reasons. This is why talent is so important. All of those electronic services available to patients and providers on branded access websites, your patient solutions team better be taking advantage of those too. Your ideal state is to have this team empowered by technology and industry expertise. These patients and providers who contact your patient support team rely on this team's expertise. They look to these individuals to support them with alternative covered research, identifying the appropriate charitable foundation-sponsored PAP program and its funding sites, patient advocacy organizations and those resources, and available nearby support programs such as transportation assistance, food delivery, and child care, and house cleaning services.
Some of you might be wondering how the suggestions we're making today apply to controlled substance products. As many of us know, there are several requirements around prescribing and dispensing controlled substance. The prescriber, e-prescribing platform, and pharmacy must all meet certain requirements. For the pharmacy or non-commercial pharmacy, in case of free drug dispense, there are several federal and state-specific requirements. Jan, can you walk us through those?
Yes, Kevin, thank you. The non-commercial pharmacy must have an active DEA license and obtain licensure in every state in which your product will be prescribed by the prescriber and dispensed to the patient. On top of that, every state has an additional requirement. For example, controlled substances that are sent to a provider in patient name may or may not require a patient-provider-agent relationship. The patient-provider-agent relationship is essentially authorized consent on the part of the patient and the provider that this particular provider is acting as an agent on behalf of the patient. So that is specific and needs to be followed. Your non-commercial pharmacy better know and track every state's specific requirements and make proactive recommendations on your best course of action. If your patient solutions provider also performs your free drug dispense, this provider should also counsel you on how to design your program elements, such as your enrollment form, to streamline the process and to ensure compliance. That's, again, the talent piece of the equation.
Exactly, Jan. Ultimately, it's the perfect balance of tech and talent that increases patient uptakes, empowers you and your providers with visibility to enhance the patient experience, and improves patient outcomes. Thank you for joining part 2 of AssistRx's Patient Assistance Program Blueprint, finding the right balance of tech and talent to optimize free drug programs. In our next webisode, we're going to dive further into building brand loyalty. Like we said earlier, now is the time to capture and retain brand loyalty. You need to optimize not only therapy initiation processes, but also re-verification. Check out our next webisode to find out how. Until then, visit our website at AssistRx.com to learn more about the intelligent way to initiate and advance specialty therapies.